Hey, my name is Lisa, I'm an industrial designer, and in this video I'm going to answer your questions about inspiration and motivation in design. The first question I got from you was, were you always talented at sketching or did you develop the skill? Awesome work. First of all, thank you so much for your kind words. But to be honest, I personally don't believe in natural talent, or at least I don't have one, because everything that I've achieved so far is a result of a hard work and nothing else. And I think that if you're naturally gifted, I guess even the first thing that you sketch ever in your life will already be a masterpiece, which was definitely not my case, and I believe that you will see yourself once I show you my sketchbook. So these were my very first doodles that I did for my freshman year classes. I remember being so confused and not really knowing how to start designing a physical shape. And that's all thanks to the sponsor of my high school tension, stress, and depression eventually, which was the entry exam I had to pass. Let's quickly get back to what I've been up to in high school. So here in Russia, to apply for almost any design, art, and architecture related degree, you have to pass a drawing and a composition exam, which lasts for 8 hours each. Depending on the uni, the task may differ, but these were the things that I did in my preparation process. Actually, this abstract composition was my thing. I really enjoyed doing it, and I felt kind of cool being able to come up with something like this, but eventually it broke my mind, and as a result, during the whole first year at uni, I struggled so much designing my first real products. And I just felt like I couldn't design any real shapes. I was only doing some abstract ones. And that was the reason why I started practicing in all of my free time, pushing through this barrier that I had, because I knew it would have been extremely challenging for me to continue my studies if I hadn't overcome this barrier that the entry exam caused me. And so, if you see what I do now, not only does the quality of the sketches differ, but most importantly is the way that I build a physical shape. Now I have a much better understanding of how a construction of the product works from the engineering and ergonomic points, but that all comes with time and practice, as you can see. Let's move to the next question, and it's about inspiration. What is your first source of inspiration and how do you keep yourself motivated? Well, first of all, what I want to mention is that inspiration is a flow that comes to you unintentionally. This is the fundamental thing for artists because art is self-expression, while design is a problem-solving process and it's a completely different thing. Being a designer, you don't really need to have inspiration to start working. Why? Because the design process starts with a research, not an inspirational flow anyways. A typical design process always includes a prior research before you actually start designing. So the research always includes the problem statement, target audience, characteristic research, and also competitors analysis. Once you figure out what pros and cons the competitor products that are currently available in the market have, you can now move to the stage of the technologies research. This kind of a research includes functional engineering solutions research because you want to make sure that what you will be designing afterwards will be easy and just possible to manufacture. Everything that we do in industrial design is limited by technologies, engineering solutions, and ergonomics. These are the three main aspects that you have to keep in mind before even starting the design process. Because it doesn't really matter if you can create a very artistic, smooth shape of a product, but it will not be possible to manufacture, or it will be too expensive to manufacture, or maybe your client already knows what kind of material he wants to use in this product, and for example, it's plywood, and you will not be able to create these amazing shapes if you're limited with this particular material. And all these things you have to know just even before you start working on the design concept. So for an industrial designer, I think the main source of inspiration should definitely be first the engineering solution that is provided for you by a mechanical engineer. And then secondly is human body, because the shape of a human body is the fundamental thing for the ergonomic development. Speaking of the aesthetic aspects of physical products, which is, I guess, what the question was more about, well, there are several ways of creating a beautiful shape. So the first method that I use for my design process on daily basis is that I start with the general shape, with the overall shape of the product, and I pay the maximum attention to the main surface that the user will be interacting with. Actually, to understand what will be the most interactive part of the product, you need to do a user experience research. So I'm going to film a separate video about user experience in industrial design, which is an extremely important thing to understand. But just speaking in general, you have to understand what steps your user will be making to interact with the product, how he will turn it on, how he will then proceed working with it, how the product will be turned off, how the product will be carried around the city, the space where it's used, stuff like that. So once you figure out the main interactive surface of your product, this will become your focal point and the graphical center of your composition. What you want to do next is you should sketch the front view of this surface so it becomes like a flat graphical composition for you to then work with. This method really helps you concentrate on this particular part of the product instead of spreading your attention to all the details and other aspects of the product in general. Another method that can definitely help you get inspired at this stage is an analysis of products with similar functionality. So for example, if you're developing the front surface of your coffee machine, for example, look for different interfaces. It doesn't even have to be an interface of other coffee machines. In contrary, it has to be interfaces of completely different products, including phones, even websites sometimes. And based on what you see in other products, you have to take notes about what you like about them. Maybe they organize buttons in a particular order that is very visually clear for a user how to use them, how to use the product in general. Or maybe you use how they use color in highlighting some particular types of buttons. Or if you're designing a product with a handle, maybe look for different types of handles. Look how other designers made the anti-slippery surface of these handles, and this can definitely help you understand what direction to move forward with in your product development. By the way, an important thing to mention is that you should not copy the particular parts of the products and implement them into your own concept. This is not what I'm trying to explain. What I'm trying to say is that you should use the technological methods that are already used in other products. And from the technological side, use these methods in your own product. Because obviously, as designers, we do not develop the new technologies. we're developing the new solutions, which are based on the existing technologies, because obviously we're not trying to design a new manufacturing method. We're just trying to use the existing ones to produce the product based on our criteria. Speaking about motivation and what keeps me motivated on daily basis, well, actually, from a very young age, I was always busy because my parents brought me to a grammar school, and the studies there were not as easy as in other, like, typical schools. And I was also doing sports professionally 6 days a week, 3 hours per day. And I was also attending art classes in the meantime. So as you can see, I was always busy, and I'm just used to it. I'm used to working hard on daily basis. And it really took me a while to understand how to organize my time to be able to rest for some time to prevent burnouts. But yeah, I'm just used to work hard from my childhood. And another thing that keeps me motivated is just the understanding that if I don't start doing something now, I probably never will, because I'm young and my physical power is at its maximum right now. And I especially understood it when I was stuck at a hospital with a serious digestion virus. I was stuck there for a week, and I was so weak that I couldn't even hold my pencil in a hand. And I just realized how many things we take for granted. And it's just that you really should take an advantage of what you have now, because you probably will be much effortless. You will have less power and just capabilities to do it in the future. So start doing now. So I hope I was able to answer all of your questions about inspiration and motivation. If you still have some doubts or additional questions, please leave them below and I will answer all of them. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.